everyone. Welcome to Daily Dictation. This is an interactive video all about workplace decisions. This video is meant to help you do an activity that will help you improve your English skills. It's going to help you improve your listening skills and your writing skills, and it's for low intermediate English speakers. To do that, in this video, I'm going to read 5 sentences about the topic of workplace decisions with important vocabulary relating to this topic. You are going to write down the 5 sentences the best you can on a piece of paper. You should listen, and then as you write each sentence down, you should apply the correct spelling, punctuation, grammar, and capitalization. After that, we are going to go and look at the answers, but I will tell you any spelling tips and explain the grammar of each sentence to you. And then afterwards, I'll give you a list of important vocabulary words to study about this topic. Now, this is great if you are going to do a standardized proficiency exam, such as IELTS, CELPIP, TOEFL, PTE, or anything like that. Because first of all, the words and the vocabulary that we study are important to know for the speaking portion, for the writing portion, and for the listening, and even possibly the reading portion as well. It's really good to have a wide vocabulary going into it. Another thing is that when you do some of these exams, there is a listening part where you only get to listen to something one time. So your ability to listen and take down notes one time needs to be amazing in order for you to complete the activity well and get a good score on it. So this really helps you take down those notes and have the correct spelling and make sure everything makes sense. So let's get right into it. In order to really improve this skill, it's good to practice every day. So we're going to do daily dictation from Monday to Friday. There are new sentences each weekday, new topics each week, and there's 2 English levels offered if you find this a little bit too easy. The instructions for this activity: you need a blank piece of paper and a pencil. 5 sentences will be read. Each sentence will be read 3 times and 1 more time at the end. And you have to write down each sentence the best that you can, exactly how you hear it. So you will use your listening skills and you will try your best to apply the correct spelling, punctuation, and capitalization. So we see here on the screen, there's going to be numbers 1 to 5. Each number represents a different sentence that I will read. We're going to start with sentence number 1. Number 1. The strategy shows the steps to complete the task before the deadline. The strategy shows the steps to complete the task before the deadline. The strategy shows the steps to complete the task before the deadline. Number 2, we must review the issue to understand our goal. We must review the issue to understand our goal. We must review the issue to understand our goal. Number 3, the outcome of the vote is important. The outcome of the vote is important. The outcome of the vote is important. Number 4, choosing the best option will help us address the issue. Choosing the best option will help us address the issue. Choosing the best option will help us address the issue. Number 5. Meeting the deadline requires a clear strategy. Meeting the deadline requires a clear strategy. Meeting the deadline requires a clear strategy. I'm going to read each sentence one more time, starting with number 1. The strategy shows the steps to complete the task before the deadline. Number 2. We must review the issue to understand our goal. Number 3. The outcome of the vote is important. Number 4. Choosing the best option will help us address the issue. Number 5. Meeting the deadline requires a clear strategy. All right, I'm sure everybody did a really great job writing down the sentences. Now we're going to check the answers together. If you found that this video was a little bit too fast and you need to slow it down, you can listen again and adjust the playback speed in the settings of the video to make it go slower. If you just need to listen to specific sentence numbers again, check the description for timestamps, and this will help you listen to specific sentence numbers again. But if you feel like you got everything, let's go ahead and check our answer. We're going to start with number 1. The strategy shows the steps to complete the task before the deadline. Okay, so we're going to break this down. The strategy is the subject. It's in simple present tense, and this is singular, so we're going to apply the third person singular rule and add the S on the verb. This is the noun, the steps. Now we have more information, and we're starting with more information by having an infinitive here, to complete. Again, just like we saw yesterday, the infinitive is to plus the base form of the verb. And then we have a noun after the task. Conjunction before, and another noun, the deadline. We don't need any commas, even though we have a conjunction. The conjunction comes in the middle here, so we don't need any commas. We typically will need commas if the conjunction comes at the beginning of the sentence after that clause, but here we don't need it because it's right in the middle, actually closer to the end. Another thing is one of our vocabulary words this week is strategy. So for this, it's best to split it up, especially because this GY makes a J sound, not a G sound. So strategy, not strategy. So that's really important. So to split it up, I would do strategy, like that. You can split it into 2. That's good. And some people also like to do strat, a G, like that. So split it up in whatever way is easier for you. I think this is the way I typically like to do it, but it's up to you however you want to do it. And then deadline also. Deadline's pretty simple. It's actually just the word dead and line together, but it's one word, and that's the hard thing to remember. A lot of people want to make it 2 words because dead is usually one word by itself and line is usually another word by itself. But you have to remember that a deadline is one thing, so it's going to be one word. So this is really important to remember. It's one word there. No spaces. Okay. Let's look at the next sentence. We must review the issue to understand our goal. So we have our subject we, then we have a modal must, and review. We're going to use the base form of the verb, and we're not going to change anything because it's plural. We is many people, so it's plural. We don't need to add a S here or anything else. We keep the verb in the base form for the simple present tense. The issue is the noun. After the noun, we have an infinitive. And our goal, because we have the word we, our possessive adjective has to match the subject. So there is currently a video about possessive adjectives on this channel. So if you're not too sure about the rules, go and have a look at that grammar video. But basically, when we have the subject we, the possessive adjective that follows or that matches that is our. So our goal. Possessive noun would be ours. And that has a slightly different rule, but we're using it as an adjective because it's modifying the noun goal. So that's why we're using our goal here. Another thing, issue is kind of a hard thing to spell sometimes. You should split it into two, and I split it up like this. Is Sue. Even though these two S's together makes the SH sound, so it's a little bit tricky sometimes because you want to put SH because that's how it sounds, but that's actually not how it's spelled. We say is Sue, or we spell it is sue like this. This is like suing, like I will sue you for money, like that. And is. That's how it's spelled, even though we say issue, do not put SH here. Let's have a look at the next sentence. The outcome of the vote is important. Okay, so for this one, actually, the subject is really long. That's all of our subject. And we're focusing on outcome and it's singular. So we're going to use the singular form of be, which is, and we're using it in the simple present tense. And then important is our adjective. This one's actually a pretty simple sentence as long as you're able to identify the subject, just a noun phrase, which is many words put together to function like a noun, which is what's happening here. Number 4, choosing the best option will help us address the issue. So here, again, we have a really long subject, choosing the best option. And we have ing to start, so choosing the best option. So we're starting with this word with an ing on it. And then we have will help, so it's in the simple present. So will is the form of be that, or will is the helping verb, and then help is the main verb. So these are verbs together. Us is the subject. Address is another verb. The issue is a noun. Will help us address the issue. Again, we have the word issue. And now if you want to know how to spell address, this one's really hard because a lot of people miss a D. So you do add like this and dress like what you wear. So add dress, split up into two, and that's how you spell it. Remember both of the D's. A lot of people forget that. Number 5, meeting the deadline requires a clear strategy. So again, we have another sentence that has ing at the front. The deadline is the noun, and this whole thing is the subject. The verb is in simple present tense, and meeting the deadline is singular. So we're going to add an S for the third person singular rule. Requires a clear strategy, so requires a noun. So subject, verb, noun in this case, or the object is a noun here, and clear is the adjective. Again, strategy, you're going to want to spell it like this to remember. Requires could be a little bit hard as well. QU is always a little bit tricky. So I would split it up. Require, like that. So quire. QUIRE, and then re separately. to help you remember how to spell. Now, of course, these bold words are the words that we're focusing on. So let's have a closer look at those words. So here are the words that we are focusing on for dictation this week: option, task, goal, issue, action plan, review, outcome, vote, deadline, strategy. So make sure you feel comfortable with these words, know how to put them in your own sentences, whether you're writing or speaking. Make sure you know the different word forms of them and things like that. Because if you're taking IELTS and you're doing a speaking exam or even a listening or writing exam, especially speaking, because they tend to ask you about day-to-day things like your job or the place that you live or your family, all these things. So if they're asking you about your job and this is what your job involves, it's really good to know these vocabulary words to explain what you do using a really good range of vocabulary. It shows them that you have more than a beginner level of English, which is what you want if you're doing an exam like that. So continue to practice these words and expand your vocabulary. Besides that, we are all finished for today. Thank you so much for watching. Keep on doing the best you can and keep on practicing your English skills. And I will see you next time. Bye.